hour that everybody in Rivers State now is a lawyer, right? And he was, jokingly telling me about how his client, talks about getting a wig and a gown because it looks like everybody in Rivers State is a lawyer. But yes, we do have another lawyer as our guest, is a popular voice and face here on our show. For those of you joining us right now, you're listening to Hard Facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info. I am yours truly, Kaladako Rubatsibor, and it's time for us to talk some more. Talk for development, by the way, political development. Before I introduce who my guest is, remember during the big stories, I told you about the CTCs, some of them in Rivers State, saying they are still in charge, irrespective of the Supreme Court pronouncement as it relates to Section 162, subsections 5, 6, 7, and 8, right, as interpreted by the Supreme Court. And, two CTCs who came out and spoke said, see, we're still in charge. We're still, remember, Professor of Law had said that the state government can continue to fund them. Even Falana had said something in that nature, that if they can continue to fund them. But I'm wondering if it is a situation where we now have individuals who intentionally flout the law and disobey the Constitution, and thereby creating men who are way too strong for the institutions of government. And so joining me to have this conversation is J.C. Williams. J.C. Williams is a lawyer, a politician, and a socio-political commentator. Welcome. Are you still a politician? Or
Thank you.
Are you still a politician? Or you?
I'm still a politician.
All right, welcome.
But not a professional politician. I'm a professional in politics.
Okay. Maybe you just confused me, but okay, welcome. We're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH. We're live on YouTube, Nigeria Info PH. We're active on X, Nigeria Info PH. And you could also follow me on social media, Dkalada, TheKalada. Welcome, JC. It's good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a listen to this.
Anything that happens in Nigeria, Rivers State will be celebrating. About 21 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is running caretaker committee. I learned that 2 days ago, the governors met behind closed doors with Mr. President to discuss the way forward. Those persons who are saying they are still chairmen, one of their interviews, they were asking them what capacity they have to extend their term. It's laughing when somebody he took an oath of office for 3 years, want to stay additional 6 months, so who are still in charge of our local government. As I speak to you, I'm the caretaker committee chair of our local government. And the same people who are celebrating also did caretaker committee. The former chairman of the local government, did about 9 months as caretaker committee, and later became elected chairman for 6 years. I want to advise these people that look, they have left office. We are in a new era, and our people are fully supportive of what His Excellency the Governor of Rivers State is doing.
So they're still in charge. Even Evans BP, he had an appointment made today, or was it yesterday, about 150 people appointed at the local government level. They called it the stomach infrastructure policy. Welcome, JC. JC, what do you make of this? The fact that they are saying they're still caretaker chairman, irrespective of the fact that the Supreme Court has ruled or made a pronouncement based on its interpretation of Section 162 that CTCs, or whatever name they go by, are illegal.
Thank you, Kalada, for this opportunity.
Okay.
Yes, they are still caretaker committee chairman.
Interesting.
The Supreme Court have come up with a judgment. Don't forget that Supreme Court is supreme. If you don't like what the Supreme Court have said, you can appeal to God.
Okay.
That said, the fact that the judgment of the Supreme Court have declared null and void the existence of caretaker committee chairman, that does not mean that the Supreme Court has scrapped local government system in Nigeria.
Okay.
In the case of Rivers State, for instance, these appointments were made before the judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget that people work at the local government level too. Somebody must be there. to head that system.
No vacuum in government?
Sorry?
No vacuum in government.
No vacuum in government. But the risk gist here is that they are telling you they are still caretaker committee chairmen. You know why?
Tell me.
Because they are in charge of the finance of the local government. That's the truth. People in Nigeria say, are you in charge? You tell you I'm in charge. Why? Because I'm controlling the finances of the local government.
And it's not that the state government is funding the local government.
The state government, by the constitution of Nigeria, cannot fund the local government. The fund of the local government comes to the local government through the state. That was what we are used to until this judgment. Even if some lawyers, will argue this judgment, how is it going to work? Taking special regard to section 162 sub 5, 6 and 7, where the constitution talks about joint allocation. Joint
state joint local government
joint account. But straight to your question, they are still the caretaker committee chairman until elected executive of the local government comes on board.
But you must have seen the response of the Attorney General of the Federation to the Supreme Court pronouncement that the federal government would withhold the allocations to states running, about 21 of them, but Delta State held elections, so about 20 of them now. Withhold elections or withhold monies for states that do not have democratically elected local governments.
You see, that's, though I didn't hear that, but if the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation have said that is not the judgment of the Supreme Court.
Okay.
He may be reacting to some questions. Because come to think about it, for you to get your allocation, as a local government, for you to get allocation direct from the federal government, what it means that you should have an account with that
with the federal government.
With the federal government.
The TCA.
The TCA. So
the TSA.
The TSA, sorry. The TSA.
Yeah.
So this judgment of the Supreme Court, as to my thinking, there should be a window period for this local government to regularize things, either by way of furnishing their account and all of that. Because you can't say a judgment just came now, then you will stop the allocation of the local government allocation. How will the staffs of the local government get their salary? It's not possible.
So you can see the headline now, right? Supreme Court verdict takes immediate effect. Local governments freed from shackles of the past. And that's Lateef Fagbemi, the Attorney General of the Federation, saying that just immediately after the Supreme Court. So I wonder if this window you're talking about is a possibility or is feasible.
Don't forget that it's a constitutional matter.
Yes,
the National Assembly has role to play here.
Okay, tell me about it.
The Honorable Attorney General, maybe in trying to do his work, I'm being careful of trying to do his work.
He's your senior colleague.
Yes, he's my senior colleague.
Yeah.
In fact, he has led me one or two matters.
Okay.
He has to say some things.
Okay.
But even in law, as we speak, when certain pronouncements are made, you don't say it's automatic, because a whole lot of things has to be done to regularize that system.
Okay.
Now, if you say you stop the allocation of local government who are running states who are running a local government CTC system, how will the salary of those staffs they are the local government be paid? How will they receive their salary? So there must be a window period. Call it 1 month, 2 months, and look, let me tell you, I believe that why the Honorable Attorney General is doing this is to further push the states that have not started the processes of election
to start the
process. That is, I think that's what he wants to achieve.
Okay. Now, let's look at the interpretations done. Subsection 5 of 162 says, the amount standing to the credit of local government councils in the Federation account shall also be allocated to the states for the benefit of their local government council on such terms and in such manner as may be prescribed by the National Assembly. Okay, that doesn't really concern this. So let's go to the one that concerns this. Each state shall maintain special account, that's subsection 6, to be called state joint local government account, into which shall be paid all allocations to the local government councils of the state from the federation account and from the government of the state. That is the internally generated revenue, I believe. And then subsection 7 says, each state shall pay to local government councils in its area of jurisdiction such portion of its total revenue on such terms and in such manner as may be prescribed by the National Assembly. All right. So now, subsection 8 says, the amount standing to the credit of local government council of state shall be distributed among the local government councils of that state in such terms and in such manner as may be prescribed by the House of the State. Now, subsection 6 talks about, in my understanding as a media practitioner, I'm not a lawyer, the lawyer will do his work now, but in my understanding, it talks about an account for all the local governments in the state, and in that account shall be paid first from FAC and then from the IGRO. And then subsection 7 goes ahead to explain how the IGRO will be distributed and in what proportion. So in the explanation or interpretation by the Supreme Court, do you have any reservation based on subsection 6, 7, and 8?
You see, that's why, when I started here, I said the Supreme Court is not supreme because it's infallible.
Okay.
But it's infallible because it's what? Supreme.
Okay.
So anything you want to appeal from there will be to God. That said, again, Supreme Court can, Canada, me and you are in this studio, you are a man of a man. Supreme Court can say Canada and Williams are women. That's the pronouncement of the Supreme Court. We become women. I'm telling you.
Okay.
So now, you see, Supreme Court have said here that local government autonomy and all the things that is contained in that judgment,
based on
the interpretation of what they were given to interpret. Now, not minding this section, he said allocation must come directly to the local government. That's what Supreme Court said. But the question is, just like you brought it, what happened to subsection 6 of 162 and 7?
It's still going straight to the local government.
No. Let me tell you something now. This section, subsection 6.
So wait. State joint local government account. Is it a state account?
Let me tell you. See,
no. From your understanding, is it a state account?
It's a joint account managed by the state.
But that it did not. You lawyers would always tell us.
No,
wait,
I'm coming. Joint account. The word there, the word you should be looking at is joint.
I'm not arguing. Could it be? And I'm going somewhere. State joint account in the sense, because the reason for the account is given after it calls it that name.
Yes.
And what is the reason? That allocation from the federal government and from the states. Why you see now why maybe it's called the state.
Let me tell you
allocation.
Why they did that. Let me tell you what they do. You said here, states usually have IGR.
True.
Now, to give local government the benefits of that IGR that will come from the state, that money has to come into the state account.
But it's not the state account, is it? It's a joint account.
That's what I'm telling you now. As it's coming, joint account. State, local government is under the state. So you don't say the money will get to local government and local government now will not distribute to state. It must get to the state first and settle into the state account.
Sure.
Right?
That's the internally generated.
No, not the general. The allocation, the federal allocation that comes. It gets there. Then the internally generated revenue of the state added there, so that when the joint, they call it jack, when that jack meets in his head, the money for the local government coming from the federal allocation is there.
Okay.
Then the internal generated revenue is there.
Okay. I do have a commercial break. We'll continue the argument about joint.
I'm going to tell something. When we come back, I tell you what the National Assembly needed to do in this subsection 6, 7 to regularize it.
All right then. Do stay tuned. We're having a wonderful argument. This feels like a court. Just stay tuned when we come back. Let's take a look at the headlines. Governor Fubara promises to support completion of Bori Correctional Center. Amewule-led assembly declares shutdown of state government expenditures. President Tinubu reinstates sacked IPREP coordinator Zabe. Police begins investigation after deadly pirate attack on Bakana Waterway. Police confirms release of Sabina's father from abductors. Federal government to distribute trucks of rice to vulnerable Nigerians. And on the foreign scene, Kenyan police arrest suspected serial killer. Details in the 6 p.m. bulletin. To reach the news team, send your SMS or WhatsApp 008 721 7215.
And now, hard facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
I still have JC Williams, Esquire, lawyer, politician, and socio-political commentator here in the studio. If you're joining us, you're welcome. You're listening to Hard Facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info. I'm yours truly, Kaladako Rubat. We're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, Nigeria Info page, and we're active on X, Nigeria Info page. I asked the last lawyer, I'm going to ask you as well, when are you going to call me to bar?
As soon as practicable.
Because we've been arguing like two lawyers.
As soon as practicable.
Oh my goodness. All right, welcome, JC. Let's go back. You were trying to explain to me before the break, the joint allocation, and even off air we were still going back and forth. And you stopped at the point where it says the state shall maintain special accounts to be called a state joint local government account, into which shall be paid all allocations to the local government councils. And you did say that the National Assembly would have to amend the law. So can you continue from where you stopped?
By the interpretation of the Supreme Court in this judgment, the National Assembly would have to do justice here by deleting subsection 5, 6, 7, and 8 of section 162 to give it life, because it is confusing at this point. For instance, section 162 sub 5 have made it clear to say that the amount standing to the credit of the local government council in the federation account shall also be allocated to the state for the benefit of their local government council on such terms and in such manner as may be prescribed by the National Assembly. Now, if this allocation, call it joint account, and it gets to this joint account of local government and state, the question we should ask is that by section 8, subsection 8, he said it is the state assembly,
the House of Assembly, like I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me read it. The amount standing to the credit of the local government council of a state shall be distributed among the local government council of the state on such terms and in such manner as may be prescribed by the House of Assembly of the state.
But that's on IGR, right? That's on the credit, when it says the credit that is standing, or the amount standing to the credit of local governments.
Yes.
That's the amount that they deserve IGR.
See, whether IGR
or allocation.
or the allocation,
Okay.
the Constitution has said is the State House of Assembly
That will determine how it's shared.
that would say. And now the confusion here is that I don't think that the State Assembly were parties to that suit.
Okay.
And I do not also think that the State Assembly had cried that the government have taken over their work.
Okay.
But that said, Supreme Court is supreme. They have given their judgment. But this subsection 5, 6, 7, 8 had to be cured by the National Assembly by way of deleting it. It has to go that way. Otherwise, the confusion will remain.
What is the confusion in your opinion?
The confusion here is the allocation have come into the joint account of the state and the local government,
Which is for the local government.
which is for the local government.
Yeah, it's not that the state should have any benefit there.
No.
Okay.
But the point is, that money is there.
Okay.
Now, who is that person that the Constitution has given the authority to superintend that? It is the State House of Assembly.
Okay.
Now, the State House of Assembly is not an accountant as a person. So, an authority should be able to manage that fund.
So are you saying to me that just like the monies are shared from the federal account, automatically, that it cannot automatically also be shared to the various local governments who need it? Because for instance, for instance, FAC now, whether there is a FAC meeting or not, at the end of the month, the monies will be shared as prescribed by the National Assembly. The federal government gets XYZ percentage, the state government XYZ percentage, and the local government. Then inside that level of government, there are 3 arms, or inside the level of government, there are 3 arms. So the judiciary will get theirs automatically, by the way, and it's supposed to, I don't know if it's supposed to be so, and the legislative automatically as well. So are we saying that we can't see that play?
No, we can't. That is the point I'm making.
Okay.
Let's remove that grammar of joint allocation, as in joint account of the state and local. Let's remove that. By the judgment of the Supreme Court, these monies should go directly to the local government. The one belonging to state should go directly to the state. And that grammar of joint account, that is where the confusion is. Okay, and that's what gives the state assembly, or even the governor, as it were.
Let me come in. Let's say you are my father. I'm a minor, and you open an account for me. It is my account, right?
Yes.
But you're the one who opened
managing it.
Are you managing it, or you opened it for me?
No, I can. I have my children.
Yeah.
I opened accounts.
Okay.
Because they are minors.
Yes.
That account is managed by me until they become of age.
So when you say managed by you, are you the one who?
They cannot make withdrawal.
Oh, really?
They can't. Until they become of age, then I will now go to bank, regularize it, transfer that title to them.
So I see where the confusion now is.
You see the point?
So since the accounts are opened on behalf of the local government, so there is the confusion as to who manages
the account.
I get you.
Because in that circumstance, the local government is seen as a minor. So by the Supreme Court judgment, local government is no more a minor. Their money should go directly to them. That of state go to state. Then this issue of joint allocation should be expunged, and that is why I said that the National Assembly should come in to cure subsections 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Okay, they've talked about that. They're looking into it, but let's look at what the Supreme Court actually said. It said demand of justice requires a progressive interpretation of the law. It is the position of this court that the Federation can pay local government allocations directly to the local government or through the states. In this case, since paying them through the states has not worked, justice demands that local government allocations from the Federation account should henceforth be paid directly to the local governments. I hold that the state's retention of local government funds is unconstitutional. He then ordered that the amount standing to the credit of local government councils must be paid by the Federation to the local government councils and not by any other person or body. An order of injunction is hereby granted, restraining the defendant from collecting funds belonging to the local government councils when no democratically elected local government councils are in place. An order that henceforth no state government should be paid money standing to the credit of the local government councils. An order for immediate enforcement and compliance with these orders by the state government and successive governments henceforth. So, I mean, back to our conversation earlier about immediate enforcement, but let's also look at it. It is saying it is unconstitutional, and it is saying that the money should be paid, but you are arguing that Section 6 should be amended.
Subsection 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Okay.
Because if these sections or these subsections are allowed to remain here in the Constitution, then there is a clash.
So, and until these things are amended, the CTCs can stay. Is that what you're arguing?
No. I'm not saying this. Please don't make me.
No, I'm trying to. Okay.
But remember when the issue of TSA started, the government of the day gave time. Say, look, everybody within this time period, make sure you regularize and all that.
Good luck, Jonathan.
Because don't forget that people are working at the local government level. See, the judgment should stop paying any government, any local government that's running city,
any state and local government,
that is running a caretaker committee. Now the question is, as wonderful as that judgment is, yes, we hate Supreme Court, but is it that people working will not necessarily anymore? They have to. That's what we're saying. So give a window period. Say 2 months. Just like Delta has done their election. Yeah. They are out of it. I understand that River State have said they are contesting. I mean, they will conducting their own
October the 5th.
That's just 2 months time. So yes, that's just 2 months. 3 months. Or 3 months as the case may be. Give this window period so that they can properly regularize. And again, the judgments have said, just like I said before, the judges just said exactly the same thing. I'm arguing here that this grammar of joint allocation, stop it. The money go directly. Let local government open their accounts, whether UBA, whatever bank, and forward. States forward. As soon as that, during the time of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as the Minister of Finance, that was what was happening.
Yeah, directly.
Every month you see the allocation directly, and you know how much your local government is receiving. But my argument or my concern with this judgment is, people are working at the local government level. That elections has not been conducted at the local government level is not the fault of the staffs of the local government. So you don't punish them for a sin they did not commit. So give ultimate look. All the states, if you are not able to conduct your election in the next 3 months.
So let me understand something. The states were by law not getting the monies directly into the account, right? They were getting the money into an account they open. Because I mean, it's logical that when you go to open it, it's you who signs.
Yes, it's you whose passport will be there.
So anything that happens with that account, fraudulently or legally,
will be
traced to you. So that means the confusion is not that the state government owns the account. No. The confusion is the state government should or should not manage the account.
That is correct.
Interesting.
That is correct.
Interesting. So that is why you're saying, for clarity purposes, they should amend the constitution.
Amend is, because the judgment of Supreme Court is there now. I'm not talking of amendment anymore. I said the National Assembly should delete.
It's still an amendment.
No. If it's an amendment, it will pass through the constitutional amendment again.
But deletion will also still pass.
No, it will not.
Are you serious?
No, it will not. It's just that based on the judgment of the Supreme Court, which nobody can fall anymore. Now,
sorry, I want to ask this question. I'm sorry. Are you saying that a judgment of Supreme Court that's contrary to the Constitution would stand? Is that what you're saying?
Let me tell you one thing about Supreme Court.
Okay.
There are something we call case laws and decided authorities. Let me tell you something. When Supreme Court speaks, that's the power the same constitution has given to Supreme Court. Even if Supreme Court says something that is not in alignment with this constitution, the worst you will do is that you go to court, to challenge it.
To which court?
To which court? It will still end at that same Supreme Court, who has interpreted it the way they want to interpret it. So when you cite, if you have a case, you cite case law. This is what Supreme Court have said, my dear. The judge is not interested in opening constitution to read whatever. It is that Supreme Court judgment. You see how powerful the Supreme Court is. Rightly or wrongly, what I say here, they can tell me and you that we are women, and people will start addressing us as women.
Okay.
So whatever they say is law. So it's not a question of the National Assembly amending anything. What they have to do is to delete this subsection 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Can the Supreme Court reverse itself? Can the Supreme Court reverse itself?
In this instance,
in any case?
Well, it's a difficult one, but it's possible. It's possible.
Okay. All right. We learn every day. So you're saying deletion will help clarify the confusion.
Clarify it. Because you see this subsection 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 here. I'm talking of joint account. Deceiving us is like when somebody was a minister of finance in this country. You remember everything GDP, confusing people with GDP. Call this thing simple name, let people understand. Local government, this is your account. State, this is your account. Leave this grammar of joint account that is causing problems.
So it is the grammar now that is causing.
It is the grammar, because it is that grammar that makes the local government superior, that they feel they can now manage the money that's not meant for them.
Sorry, come again.
It is this
grammar
of joint account that is making the states
now feel okay
that they can even manage or control what is not originally theirs,
or even spend it. Interesting. All right, so let's go now to the phone lines. I do not have much time. I was enjoying your lecture. Let's go now to the phone lines and get thoughts and views on this very issue. Remember, we're looking at the CTCs insisting that they are still in charge. And the lawyer in the studio has made an argument for them. I mean, there is no vacuum in governance, he has said. He has said there should be a window for the regularization, of the various processes, now that the Supreme Court has given this order. And interestingly, he has said that the Constitution has given the Supreme Court so much powers to be even bigger than the Constitution itself. In my own understanding, that's how I understood it. And I'm shocked. Why am I not a Supreme Court judge? Anyways, let's get your thoughts. And yes, like I've been arguing, the Supreme Court only interpreted what is in the Constitution. However, according to my guest, the Supreme Court has failed to take a look at the grammatical, can we call it, error now?
No, sorry, let me say something. Is it to tell you the power of the Supreme Court again? Supreme Court was asked to interpret what was in the Constitution, and Supreme Court have interpreted it their own way.
Progressively.
Yes, and their way they interpreted it, even if it's not in tandem with what is written in that Constitution, that one Supreme Court said is not the law.
Interesting. Anyways, I'm going to the phone. I'm not asking any more legal questions. I take 1 or 2 calls and we call it a wrap. Thank you, Williams. But let's see this one. This one says, will all the 774 local government accountants go to Abuja every month to attend the sharing meeting? Please, did any LG complain to AGF that their monies are being deducted? If no, what evidence does Supreme Court have that state governments are deducting money or monies meant for LGs? KG is asking. I mean, it's obvious that, financial documentations and all of that stuff. But this one says, I don't know under which section of the Constitution that your guest is relying on to sugarcoat the Supreme Court judgment. If the Supreme Court said one is not the king, it is with immediate effect. The CTCs are now illegal before the law. The LGAs can handle salaries, so no need for his explanations. Do you agree with that?
Now, let me tell you, don't forget that the RISEC of the state conducts local government election. Just like my learned senior told you, the professor told you, the state can decide to fund the people they have appointed as CTC chairman, and they will continue to function as CTC.
But is it not illegal? Does it not have a legal? Does it not? See, you lawyers would always say contempt of court. Is that not going to be a contempt of the Supreme Court?
It's not contempt, because the issue here is that allocation, that money coming from the federal government, and the state government say we are not touching it.
But then there's also the part of that ruling that says it must be a democratically elected.
That's what we are saying
local
now.
Government.
What qualifies you to receive that money, allocation, is that you are democratically elected. That's what qualifies you. And in this case, there is CTC, right? They are not democratically elected. While waiting for the election of October, the governor,
is that still not?
It is not, because that's money. Get the point. The governor can use internally generated revenue of the state.
No, I'm going somewhere. The Constitution says there shall be 3 tiers of government.
That's correct.
So if you have distorted one tier of government, is that not flat Constitution? And by extension, contempt.
Let me tell you something now.
Yeah.
As we speak, for instance, taking university as a case study. Yeah. There is no democratically elected local government.
I am now saying, is that not flouting the Constitution?
And you conduct election now. The time of election is out. The RISEC is working towards conducting election, until that is done, the judgment said that local government will not receive that allocation from the federation account. That's what that judgment says. I'm not doing that. Why you see CTCs in state telling you that they are still the CTC? Is that the governor, as it stands now, Can you say, okay, that allocation, people are not democratically elected. Let's not flout the law. Let's not go against this judgment. Let the money be there. They know we are not touching it. The governor can use money belonging to the state and be given to this CTC
But
chairman.
is it not, yet again, because it's categorically stated CTCs are illegal and unconstitutional. So if my point is, or my question is, if the governor, let's remove Rivers State so it doesn't look like we're being political.
Okay.
Any governor, right? Let's go to a state like I think Benue has done. I don't think they've done. Let's even go to Abia State. That's our neighbor. Yeah, they have TCs. They call theirs mayors or something like that. Let's say the governor continues to fund them from his internally generated revenue. Is he not funding an unconstitutional government? That's the question.
Let me take you back a little. When the president of Nigeria today was the governor of Lagos State, he created an additional local government.
Yes, he did.
And funded them.
Okay. And they went to court, right?
And they went to court. And what happened? The court said, you are allowed, your state government, you are allowed to create as many local governments. There is a name they call it. Is it administrative?
LCDA.
Yes, LCDA. As long as you have the money to fund them, that is your business. The court said so. I'm not saying that the CTC, by the judgment of Supreme Court, I'm not saying that they should be. But what I'm telling you is that the governor of a state, until the election is conducted, can decide to keep them for political reasons. I say, please be functioning there. I'll give you money from the state. What will you do? Meanwhile, the federal allocation, they are not tampering with it. They have not gone against the law, because what qualifies you to get that federal allocation is that you are democratically elected, and they are not. So they say, we don't want the money. This arrangement between them and the government.
I understand the financial argument you're making, but I don't understand the legal argument.
See, the legal argument is that
if I steal, right, I'm a thief.
Yes.
And I have committed a crime.
Yes.
Now, if you aid and abet me, it means you've also committed a crime. And so if CTCs are illegal, which, using my analysis or my example, it means that they are criminal. And if I fund them, I've also committed a crime.
You see,
correct me if I'm wrong.
See, we are very correct. But let me tell you something.
Okay.
This judgment I've said, you are illegal.
Okay.
Therefore, you cannot receive allocation from the federation account.
True.
So, what you should do is to be fast, to be democratically elected, to qualify you to receive that money.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And that's why I use the case of Rivers State. The case of Rivers State, timetable is out.
Yes, it is.
And then, government must run. The government can decide. I'm not saying that is what he's doing. He can say, okay, I'm considering the peculiarity of Rivers State now and what is happening politically, knowing what the local government system means in Rivers State. The governor can say, you people should remain there. I think I'm the one that appointed you. I'll keep addressing you as CTC chairman. I will address you. The money of federal government, we are not touching it.
Okay.
And then you see them work as CTC chairman. What will you do?
I've got to go. But thank you very much, JC Williams, for coming through. Thank you for your analysis and your time. It's been a pleasure having this chat with you.
Thank you so very much,
I've got to learn a thing or two. Supreme Court is supreme. So supreme.
In everything. Including if they say this constitution today is paper, it becomes paper.
I've got to go to JC Williams, lawyer, politician, socio-political commentator.
Nigeria Info. Right back after this.